Welcome everyone, and as we had promised you yesterday that we are going to continue from here we left. Today we are going to do a bit of some data ingestions and some field transformation. And yesterday we left at we created a workspace. So I'll share my screen where we were yesterday. So we had created this workspace, and we wanted now to do some few steps, and we see how it's gonna help us and how we can do the next step. So one of the things that I'm going to show you is I'm going to introduce something we call a lake house that you're going to click next, and then so that we can continue. So just a little about data engineering. Data engineering is the process of designing it's the process of designing, building, and maintaining systems that collect, store, clean, and deliver data for analytics, machine learning, and decision making. So it's basically like that, the process of collecting data, sharing, and cleaning, and because most of the data we get from different sources, and it's not cleaned, so we have to collect, clean, and transform. So the next piece that we're gonna deal with it today, as I had said there before, it's Lakehouse. And Lakehouse in Microsoft Fabric is a data architecture platform for storing and managing and analyzing structured and unstructured data in a single location. We say it's flexible and flexible and allows organization to handle large volume of data using various tools and framework to process and analyze the data. And one of the few things is that Lakehouse incorporates a SQL endpoint, and SQL endpoint is it unlocks the warehouse capability. You can be able to query your data. Also, we have something we call direct click, and it's easy to ingest. And for this, we shall explore more about that. And as we move forward, as we said, like some of the terms may feel like they are a bit new, but with time we shall get used to them. A notebook is a code item for developing machine learning experiment. You can do your codes. For those people who are mostly used to the coding, like data science, doing the computer science, and they know some coding, like some language like Python. You can use R. You can use a lot of language to code and visualize your data. So it has a lot of capabilities, and it's the good thing, it has no limitation. With code you can do massive this. You have no limitation. You can do a lot of things. You can collaborate. You can auto-save your data. You can schedule the pipeline. You can get data from different sources, API, and a lot of things. So with that, now we shall go back to our normal place now here. So one thing, as I have said, we are going to come and create a new item, and then we're going to look for a lake house, the one that we just so we are going to rename our lake house as Green Innovation Raw. Raw means that it's the raw data, and so you can name the way you want. It doesn't have restrictions, but sometimes when you're doing the data transformation, you want to store data in different lakehouse, for example, raw and then cleaned, so that you can differentiate between your raw data and the transformed data. So just give it a moment, and your lakehouse it's now calculated. So in the lake house, you will see we have tables. This is the tables, and this is files. So if you ingest a file, you will see these files in this place, and also you'll see if you expand DBO, you'll see the tables that you've ingested. And today I want now to move out of this place, and for this hackathon we are supposed to do with things related to green innovation, things like solar energy and such kind of things. So I'm going to share something here. I hope it's working. So this website contain a lot of energy data.info, contains a lot of data, and you can get a lot of this data. You can see, for instance, Zambia, individuals to what I don't know what is that, Maldives wide measurement data. There's Tanzania. I think this is the Ministry of Power. This is education facilities that contains in Somalia that have power. Like there's a lot of data. For example, Afghanistan, this with mapping phase, Congo, Brazzaville, diesel groups. All this is data related to energy, and it's data that is verified. It's from the World Bank. So what we shall do, if you, for example, you click this one, you're going to see this data set. So for example, this data set contain ID, serial number, date, region, and then we have institution name. There's also installed capacity, kilowatts, and this latitude and also the locality. So this data set consists of grid connected solar installation. The installed capacity in kilowatts are also provided, was last updated on June 2014, but the time doesn't matter. We're just using this data to do some few, and I like using the real world data because I can create a sample data, and then maybe you feel like I'm not maybe real, but this is a real data you can get from a website, and you've seen you can even search maybe related to your country or your region, and so that you can analyze the way you want. So this is just a free website. And now there's something we call APIs. So here we can connect to this data set using APIs. So for example, they're giving even you an example of how you can connect and how you can connect to. So we shall use the API. And before even I continue, let's tell you what is an API. API is short form for application program interface. So it's like it just connect it's like a link that connects two things. For instance, in this case, we have this data from website, and then we want to view this data to our Microsoft Fabric. So this API is connecting the both of them, and then you can able to get the data to what. So we shall use these APIs to get this data to our lakehouse, and that's what you're going to do next. So I had done some preparation before this. So we are going to our lakehouse, and we are going to create a notebook. So we are going to open a new notebook. So this notebook, you can, at the time of creating the notebook, you can rename it to the way you want. So it was just named the notebook 1. So after this, I'll paste some few codes here. So this code I can share after this. I can also even put it in our chats. Yeah. So I pasted that code here. So in case you want to use an API, you'll only change these two things, which is this website and this resource ID. After now you have changed the two, you can able to get the data. So we are going to run this and see whether it's going to work. So we just run it, and let's give it some few minutes. So there are different ways you can get data to your lakehouse, but notebook is one of them, and we are going to look at several of them, like data flow that we had actually introduced yesterday. That is very easy. It does not have a lot of code, and also this one doesn't have a lot of code. I'll show you even how you can clean data and you don't know about the codes at all. So it's just few things you have to know. And for instance, if you are not able to generate such kind of code, nowadays we have GPT models and AI that can help you to generate some code. If you really know what you want, it can enhance your knowledge and you become one of the best, even data engineers. Or so for instance here, so we have loaded that data and then it's being stored in our, this is the lakehouse. So we will refresh. We see whether we can able to view it. So you see now I have this data here. And what I'll do, I want to show you, even if you don't know how to code. For example, if you load and click here Spark, it generates you the code. So this code right now here, you really don't know how sometimes you don't need even to know what it means, but it's just selected that data and then it's displaying part of it. So this code was auto-generated. So you just run it and then you get to view your data. Hmm? Hmm. So the speed sometimes depends on your machine and a lot of other factors. So this is the data that we have just loaded. So you can see this is the way we had viewed this data into the website. It's the same like we can view this data here. And I'm going to show something we call data wrangler. Data wrangler is it's a tool that in Notebook in Microsoft Fabric that we can help to transform this data. For instance, you can see there are some columns that we don't have values, and maybe you want even to change the format, like to become the way you want them to be, and such, and others. So we're going to do some field transformation, and I know it's gonna be interesting. So at the top, there is some few options here. Like this is something I was saying is called data wrangler, and it can help you to do some transformation. Here we have PySpark, so we are using the Python language and others, but these are not necessary. So as you begin, you may not really need them. So if you click the drop down, you have like several languages: SQL, Spark, Python, and other language. So this is the one that we want to use. And when this data is loaded here, it was named DF. And DF, most of the cases, means a data frame. So data frame is a table that has columns and rows. So if you pick this data frame, it's going to give you another window, and now it's give you several options. So as you can see, starting the data wrangler, and it's tell you this could take a moment. So let it give you some moments. So this one can give you some information about the data. For instance, this data here, as you can see, is the data that is constant. This data doesn't have unique, it has unique values. You can also see the date. On some like data like this one, we have different values, and it can tell you like the missing, the distinct values, the one that are common, maybe even like for like locality, it's even analyzing like Sakumono is 8%, Kumasi 8%, Accra 8%, and other they take like 75%. So it gives you some few analysis of that specific column and how that data looks like. And then if you want now to transform to make it clean, you can go ahead and do what you want. So for this instance, when you are doing the data analysis and transformation, one of the things that we really don't use when it comes to data insight is IDs. We rarely use IDs. For instance, this ID here, it doesn't give any information, as it doesn't help anything. This serial number also doesn't help anything. So in this case, we are going to just, if you click here and then the ellipses, the three dots, you can say drop this column. So when you click drop this column, now this is where the magic happens. If you look at here at the bottom, you get auto-generated code. So this code says like this, drop column ID. So what you'll do now, you just, it's now not, it adds that, it removes that, and then it notes that. So that after finishing your data transformation, you can now go and do something else. So the other thing we shall do the same. You're going to drop this. So it generates the codes. So you click apply. And now we look at something else we can do here. Like we can do some transformation. So in this case, at the bottom, the bottom three rows, for example, create Accra region, and these ones, we don't have the value, for instance, here, we don't have the dates. So we don't have the locality for one, and then we don't have the latitude and the longitude for both of them. So these columns, they won't help us in a lot of information. We have installed capacity, but if maybe we want to analyze by region and create a map, we won't have data set. So how can we do this? So so this one's, it's very simple. I told you don't have to know how to write the code. So there's in the operations, you have all the like AI enhancement. You can find and replace. If you maybe want to find like something and replace it with another one, you can just find it. And if, for example, say like find and replace here, it will give you give you a column. Let's say which column? No, you are messing with this data. This is Metro municipal data set. Let's use this one. So we are like using the old value. For example, this KMA, and I don't know what it means. So we have this KMA here, and maybe you want to I want to match full string, match the case. Like you choose the way you want. You want maybe to match exact the way it is. and then you want to new value, so you can change it to KWS. You want it to be hours. So you see, it's already changing like automatically, even without doing a lot of work. So what you do, I don't want, and now you see, as I had told you, this is how now you see the code. It has generated that code in this column. Look for KMA and then replace it. You see, and then it does the operation. But in this case, we are not going to do that because we shall discard this because we don't want to make this data lose its meaning. So what you are going to do, you are going to filter. To filter is just to pick a certain section of something. So let's filter with, let's see whether this will work, like metro municipality. Let me see. So what, now there are different ways to do this, like equals to, not equals to, starts with, ends with, contains. And then for instance here we can say equals to, and then we don't have any value. So it equals to a certain value. You can also say, for example, not equals to a certain value. So it's just pick. So for instance, this filters that is not equal to this, when this value is, it's just null. So it picks only the one that are nulls. And we shall see this as we move forward how. So you can, if this is what you want, so you can see here it has picked this one. And we want to apply. And the good thing is, if it doesn't work for you, if it's long, and if even you don't know the meaning of this, you just apply, and then we shall load this. There's at the top, there is add code to the notebook, copy it, and save the as a CSV. So what we are going to do, we are going to add code to the notebook. So if you click this code, you can now see all the code that I'm not the one who have written these codes. So if I say add, so this code I'll add it to my data frame, and now this is the one that we had loaded there before. And you see, like we have this column and this column, and we have this. So I want us now to load this one. We see how it has screened our data set, and we see whether we are heading in the right direction. So now I want now to see our data set. So our data set here doesn't have ID, doesn't have serial number, and doesn't have the 3 columns at the bottom. But for us, we just knew how to use it. We didn't write any code. So Microsoft Fabric Notebook writes the codes for us, and we now can clean our data. And now our data is very clean, and we can now go back and save it to our lakehouse, and from there now we are good to go. So that's just a few things that you can do with the lakehouse, with the Microsoft notebook. So there's something else that we're gonna do. I think one thing, and you can do a lot of it. For instance, you can do another process. Let's go back once more. And now note that now our new that we have cleaned is now df clean. So we can now just go back and do another transformation. For instance, let's say we have institution name and or even the metro municipal district. You don't want all of them. Maybe you don't want this called KMA, or you don't want to see this tema or something like that. So when you come now to now not sorting, to filter, let's try to filter. And I don't know how I don't know whether you are familiar with these places. Maybe this locality, let's see. Maybe you want only for, we don't have a lot of them. Maybe you want only for Accra, or maybe for Lagos or something like that. Let me filter with, if you have suggestion how we can filter this, I'm getting a lot of options. I don't know which one to use, but let me use, this one is simple to type. So for instance, let's type KMA here. So you see, it has highlighted all of them. This one is going to remove all of them, and now we are going to remain with KMA. So note how contents work. So if you filter that contents, we just highlight the KMA. And if, for instance, we say does not contain, so and then maybe we say KMA, so it will highlight the KMA and leave others. So in this case, you are not going to filter only the one that does not contain. So let's see whether we shall have our data set without KMA. So if you click apply, and then we add that to the notebook, you see, this code, it's very hard for you to write from the head. So if you add this one, so let's see whether it's giving us what we want. So you can see we don't have the KMA. We don't have the KMA now. That's how you can filter with what you want to display. And once you're done filtering, you just save your data to the lakehouse, and from that you can do your analysis. So if you come back here, you'll have this. You have this is the workspace. So this is the lakehouse that we created, and then there's something called SQL Analytics Endpoint. It's just created automatically, and this is the notebook that we have just created. So what you've just shown is how you can use notebooks and to ingest different sources of data. You can even use ingest an Excel file, data that is in your local machine. You can the one that is in the cloud from the databases, and you can use notebook to do some data transformation. And it's very easy to use. As I've told you, you don't have to know a lot of coding. It can help you to increase your knowledge on that. So for that, I think that my part adds that and to that place. So what I will do, I'll welcome Sami to continue with the rest of the data flow, and that one also is very interesting. So stay tuned, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Martin, for that interesting session where we have learned about notebooks, and we've seen that it is not actually the normal notebooks we are used to. Yeah, so I just want to take some bit of time now to take you through how we are now. Yesterday we were introduced into what data flows are, and how we can be able to use those data flows to ingest data from different sources. So yesterday we had a chance to look at how we can ingest from an online source. Today I want to now show you how you can ingest now from, maybe you have files that exist in your local machine, either you are using a CSV file or something like that. Before I get into that, you can see that we are collaborating with Martin on the same workspace. So whatever Martin was working on just a moment ago, you can see that I already have those pieces here already in the same workspace. And when you come here to manage access, you can see that both myself and Martin have access. So that's what we were talking about yesterday, about the power of now the power of Microsoft Fabric, allowing you to collaborate with your colleagues. And so without wasting much time, let's now go into the data flow process. And yesterday we saw that we are using now the data flow Gen 2, which is an updated version of the data flow. So let's select that one. Then it's always important for us to rename to a name that we can always remember. So I am using the initials df just to show that this is a data flow. And then I have some sample data. So let's say we are going to work on, and this is a hackathon. Let's call it ingestion. So that's okay. And then let's create our data flow, give it some bit of time as it loads. Yeah, and there we go. So we are introduced to this screen. I think we've seen it before, and now we have several data sources that we want to ingest from. Yesterday we saw that we had quite a number. Today I'm going to move a bit faster. So we want to first of all import from a CSV file that exists in our local machine. So we come to this point, make sure that we are selecting that one. So I want to upload the file myself. So I want to browse my files, and then I have an hackathon folder here. So yeah, we can see that I have this cell CSV. So let me just select open. Yeah, and give it some bit of time as it loads. So you can see this a bit different now from what Martin was showing. This more of pick things and drop compared to now where Martin was working with a bit of code. So that gives you the flexibility, whether you are an engineer who has some knowledge of code, or whether you do not have knowledge of code, you do not need to worry, because you have those options where you can ingest. So if you are more comfortable with the code piece, you can use the notebook. If you are not, you can now switch to using the data flow here as I'm using. And we will see more about how easy it is to just pick things and drop as we move by. So let's give it some time as it loads. And if you have any questions, you may be dropping them in the chat, and then we'll be answering them as we move by. So seems this is a large file, so let's just be patient. We are almost there. Yeah, and our file is ready, so we just proceed to the next step. We click there next. And now what happens after this step is that once we have connected to a data source, we are now moved to a Power Query window. So when we are moved to the Power Query window, that's where we can be able now to perform some data cleaning and transformation process before we now ingest it into our lakehouse. And you can see that already we can get a preview of our data. So this is the file origin. The delimiter which was existing in the CSV file was the comma delimiter. We have quite a few options. You can select those, but since ours was a comma delimiter, we can select, and then we can base it on our first 200 rows. So that's okay. Let's go ahead and create. Yeah, and just like that, we are now brought to this Power Query window. And when you get this is for those who have had a feel and touch of 4BI, you know what Power Query is. And here we can do a bit of cleaning. So you can see already that we get a preview of our rows. We have our query now as cells. So before we even proceed to do any cleaning on this data, I want to go ahead and then just add a few more sources of data into this piece, and then we can now clean them all together. So when you look at this, my top this is my top window. We have quite a number of things that are going on here. So all these, so these are some of the pieces that you may be using. So we have quite a number of them, and we'll be going through them as we continue. So we have these ones. So you look, when I hover around, you can see that it is the get data, so we can use this also to import more sources. So let me just go exactly to that. I want to import an Excel workbook, so let's click that. The Excel workbook is in my local file, so let me just go ahead and upload and then browse my local files. So let me select this one here. I open the file. Yeah, and just like that, it's a very simple process, just picking things, dropping them here, and moving to the next step. So let's also give it some time. This goes a bit faster, which is good for us. Yeah, and we are good. So let's go to the next step. And you will see shortly how now what happens. So when we select the Excel workbook that I've just selected, we get a preview of the different sheets that exist. So we have a product table, we have a geo table, a manufacturer sheet, and then we have a product sheet. So you can look that we have an icon here that shows that this is now an Excel worksheet compared to what's here. So let's, for this, I want just to select the product table. And when I select it, you can see how it looks like, get a preview. So you can also select the geo table here, there. I can get a preview of what it looks like. You a quick look at this and you can see that already we have some few sorry about that. So you can see that we have some few rows here that look like they are not part of the data. So that is part of the cleaning process that we are going to do here in a bit. And so let's finally select the manufacturer table here. I think I might just have cancelled the process. No worries, you can do that again. So quickly over what we've just done. Good file. And so it's important for us to know that with Microsoft Fabric, we have some sort of flexibility. We can bring data from different sources. So you can always choose what works for you, what is easier for you to work on. Moment as we wait. Yeah, so let's select our previous sheets that we wanted. So I just want 3 of them. I want the product table, I want the geo, and I want the manufacturer. So we are all good. So let's create that. Depending on your data, this may also take some bit of time to load. Yeah, and just like that, we already have our data in place. So it's now time for us to look at the few fields that we have. Let's do a bit of cleaning and then we progress as we see. So what I want to begin with, I want to change some of these names. So let's first change our query. So cells 1, I just want that to remain a cell. So you can see where I'm changing on my right pane. So cells, I press enter, that's done. And you can see that we have a few applied steps that are showing here. So for any changes you make, it should be able to log down here. So you should be keen to see the steps that you have undertaken as we progress. So to manufacturer, I want to impress my grammar teacher, so I want to make sure that starts with a caps name. Press enter on your keyboard. We are good. Geo, I want to rename that to geography also. Press enter, we are good. You notice now that these changes are adding up as we continue. We have the product table. I want to rename that to product. Yeah, and just like that, we are all good. So let's start with our sales table, and then I want us to do some bit of cleaning on these tables as we proceed. So on a quick look, first of all, we can see that in this zip column here. So when you think of a zip code, so a zip code is normally not a number. A zip code is more of a text to show what the actual zip number is. So you can see that we have if I hover over here, you can see that we have that data type as a whole number. I want to change that to text. So simply just click there. We get all these data types that we may use. You can do a research of what they mean, where they are used. So I just want this one to remain as text. Get a dialog box here. So just replace the current one. Yeah, and just like that, I've been able to rename my zip column here to I've been able to rename my zip column here to data type of text. And you can see how simple it was for me to change that one. So we have loaded those different. So just a moment here. So let's move to another table. So let's move to the product table. And let's have a quick look at now what we have. So when you look at the product table, you see that let's take a quick look at this category table here. And what you see is that we have a category as mix here, and then the rest of them are null. So we don't want to our data to have some of those null categories. So quickly, we want to go to this transform tab. So that's how we get to transform our data. So you can see we have quite a number of also a bit several tabs here. So these do different things depending on how you want to transform your data. I think when you get to your account, you can be able to go through and see what these things do. And so I just want to replace values. So click the drop down. I want to replace values. I get two options. So I have a basic option where I just look for the value that I want to find here, and then the value I want to replace with. Click OK, everything is done. If you want to do a bit more of an advanced level of that, you have all these now. You want to match the entire cell contents, you want to use special characters. But for me, I just want to do a basic. So the value I'm looking for here is this null. So I'm just going to type the null. And I want to replace it with, let's say, the mixed category. So that's the value that I'm going to replace with. Then click OK. Let it load. Yeah, and just like that, you can see that now all those null values have been able to be replaced quickly. Another quick look, you can see that we have, when you look at the product category here, we have these two pieces. So we have the first part, and then we have a delimiter somewhere in the middle, and then we have, so we want to split this column. So we want to split this column so that we have them. So while we are still here on our tab, so we go to transform, which is here again, and then we look for this. You can see that we have a split column here. So not that one, so this one. Yeah, so we come there, so click on the drop down. So we want to split these columns by delimiter. So delimiter is actually what is separating this one. So we also get again two variations. So we have the basic one, which we just select the separator, and then we change, and then we have the advanced one. So I want to now try the advanced one. So the separator is not a comma, so we have a custom. Somebody should give me the name of this. You should drop the name there in the chat box. We want to make sure that's the leftmost delimiter. Yeah, and then I want to split it into columns, and then there's a whole lot of other stuff. And then just click OK. Then let it load. Yeah, and just like that, we have been able to split these two columns. So we now have the product. So it's renamed. So let's rename these columns. You just double click on that. I want that to remain as product. And then double click on that one. I don't know, it's taking me back. So yeah, double click, and then I want to now rename that one to no, not category. Let's give it a better name. Yeah, let me just name that as a segment. So yeah, just like that, we have been able to rename those columns. So that's also part of what we can do. So I hope you are keeping tab on our applied steps over here, because for every action that we do, you can see that we are adding. So we have split the columns, we have replaced values. So progressively we are adding on those steps. So that makes you keep track of what you have done. And if you just want to revert back, you can press this close button, and then you can be able to revert back to how your data was. So this makes you make sure that your process is a bit cleaner. Also, we can split this column, but just before I show that, let me jump to another query here. So you make sure you've jumped to the correct query. So as I'd shown you earlier, we have some of these rows here. So you can see these rows do not look like they are part of this data that we want. So we want to remove some of these top rows. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to my home tab, and then you see quite a number of these. So we have one here. So when I hover, you can see that that's one to remove rows. Click on the drop down. So I want to remove the top rows. Yeah, so I want to remove how many number of rows. So I think I want to remove around 3. So select the number of rows I want to remove, and then click OK. Yeah, and just like that, you can see that now the rows that I did not want are now removed, but still we have this new row here as the header. So I want to make sure that my first row is now my header. So I go back to the transform tab, and then you can see use first rows as headers. I click on the drop down here, and then I just want to use the first row as headers. Yeah, and just like that, you can see yeah, and just like that, you can see that I've been able to make my first row as headers. Let me switch my query to the manufacturer and then show a quick process also over there. So on this other end, you can see that now these are now as bottom rows that we don't want. So you can see these are null. We don't want those bottom rows. We want to remove those bottom rows. So let's go through the same process. So go back to the add column. To the home tab. Remove rows. So right now you can see we have several options: remove top rows, bottom rows. We even have an option of alternate rows, duplicates, all those kinds of stuff. So I want to remove my bottom rows, and let me just check on the number. I want to remove 3 of them. So 3 of them, click OK. Yeah, and just like that, I've been able to remove the bottom 3 rows from my manufacturer query here. So I have around 4 minutes. So let me just show you one more. I don't know if I put those in the product. Yeah, so I now want to show you how you can now split your columns using using a different way. So make sure I'm selecting the price. I want to add a column, and then I now want to create a custom column from examples. So you can see, so custom column from examples, and then I want to select as an example from all columns. So from all columns, then you see now it gives me a column. So what I just need to do is that I need to double click on the first column, and then I want to separate the price from the currency. So when I come here and type the first price that you see there, so that's 412.13. So already it's intelligent enough. It says that I want to split the currency and the price. And when I just press enter, you see it's intelligent enough. So it has gone along to split all those prices from the currency in all the rows. And that's the power of actually now these data flows. You see, it's a simple process, and you can see that we have a formula that has been able to be shown here. Yeah, the top, sorry about that. Yeah, and so all I need to do is just click OK, wait for that to load. Yeah, so I just need to now rename this column to just a better name for price, that is MSRP. Yeah, and I'm good. So when you now want to split the now currency to a different column, and just let me showcase that one also quickly. So the same process, custom from examples. Cancel that first. Yeah, from all columns. Double click that, and now I just want to have the currency here, USD. Then make sure I select enter. It's all good. Yeah, and I can just rename that to currency. And since I've now split these two columns, meaning I don't need this one, so select that, make sure you right click, and then remove columns. And now I've removed these columns. And so those are some of the cleaning process that you may go through. And now we want, let's say we are satisfied with all the cleaning process we have done. So we want to save this data now to, we want to save this data to our lakehouse. So we come here, we want to add a default data destination, and we want to add it to our lakehouse. So it gives you that dialog. So next. A bit of time. Yeah, and we make sure we select the correct workspace. So this is the workspace that we are working on. And then if you remember, this was the lakehouse that Martin created, and we want to choose this lakehouse. So we want to select all our queries, and then we can bind all these selected queries. Then we can give it some bit of time to load. Giving a start. Yeah, and just like that, we now have our default destination here. Yeah, and that's all about our session today. Thank you so much for getting to attend. I hope you have gotten to learn a lot. We continue with this series now that we have. Yesterday we talked about about the data ingestion process. We have seen how we can clean some of this data. So what now follows is we want to show you now how this data moves. So there is something known as medallion architecture. We are going to take you through that, and then we are going to show you how you can connect this now data to your database. And so yeah, thank you for attending, and see you on the next one. Martin can say something as we close.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sami. That was exciting, and I hope everybody is happy because I'm very happy at this moment. We are learning a lot about Microsoft Fabric, uh, and I know that with time you'll also become an expert in this. So at the end, we shall also share how you can, if you want maybe to do a certification on this. Remember yesterday I told you that this certification that you do on the current technologies are the one that are going to help you when you come out of school. So we shall share how you can do the certification. You can also apply for voucher from Microsoft, and maybe you'll be lucky to get the voucher because right now Microsoft are giving a lot of voucher on the Fabric certification. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being keen and listening. And for now, we're gonna wish you all the best in whatever you're doing this evening, and we're gonna see you tomorrow. Thank you so much.